We've seen a huge movement on Ethereum and Bitcoin this week. Between Monday and Tuesday, we saw Bitcoin rallying all the way up to $72,000 and Ethereum following along, going all the way to the $3,700. So a lot of this is because of the ETF news for Ethereum, which is bullish news for the whole crypto ecosystem. And with that, a lot of people profited. But what is Bitcoin, or what is the crypto market going to do from now on? A lot of people already surfed the wave all the way to the almost all-time highs. I think at the time that I'm recording this, Bitcoin is 5% from all-time highs. So we could see by end of the month, which we still have a few days from, we could see Bitcoin reaching a new all-time high, which for crypto is always very, very bullish and super good to hear, even for altcoins. Everything goes up on this scenario. So let's dive more into it. So a lot of this movement in Bitcoin's price, or in the crypto market's price, is due to the ETF news for Ethereum. There's a lot of new data right now that shows, speculates that now there's more than 75% chances of the Ethereum ETF being approved in the following month. So that with the FOMC news brings a lot of volatility and a lot of new people, a lot of new eyes towards inflation protection assets. So Bitcoin, gold, the S&P 500, all of these assets, they made all-time highs because of inflation protection. And the ETF news just aggregated as bullishness to Bitcoin and Ethereum itself. A lot of traders had also wondered if this movement from Bitcoin and Ethereum was also due a lot of long positions on Bitcoin and Ethereum, not only because of the ETF news, but also because of the bullishness itself post-halving. So there's a lot of speculation between ETF news, inflation news from the Federal Bank Reserve, but also due to a lot of long position. There's a lot of people longing, also a lot of people shorting, but $80 million were liquidated throughout this pump in Bitcoin. So the longs beat the shorts during this week. So there isn't really a black and white answer on why these assets are going up. But we just know that with this regulatory shift in the US government, this was bullish for a lot of assets, for a lot of markets. If you look at Bitcoin's derivatives, so futures and options mainly, you can see there's a little bit of bullishness for the future months. There's a lot of open interest for strikes that are above the current price. So we're talking about 70K, 80K, 100K. A lot of interest is being shown for futures, for the futures market for Bitcoin and Ethereum. These derivatives usually carry a premium difference, so it's going to be a little bit more inflated because of the longer away, the further away expiration time. So usually this premium stays 5 to 10% above or more, adding to the price itself of the spot. But because of this huge spike, we saw it going all the way to 15%. So we're seeing market optimism again, which is something we haven't seen all the way since April 1st. So April 1st, we had a spike in the futures premium 3 months ahead. And April 1st, we got all the way to 25% premium. And on the 21st or the 20th of May, we saw it going all the way up to 15, when a few days before it was trading around 5 to 10%. So there's again optimism going back to the market, which is always good to see because it means people are usually going more long than short. The market data for derivatives also suggest, paired with technical analysis, that there's still room for growth, both on the derivatives side of things by over leveraging or by leveraging more than users are already. And there's also a bounce on the rising channel levels for Bitcoin, as we can see in this image. So we're now around 5% from all-time highs, and we went above this rising channel, which can bring us all the way to the 80K level and test the resistance level, which if we break that, then who knows what's the price of Bitcoin in the near future. And on our end, if you remember a few weeks ago, we opened 2 vertical spreads, one on Bitcoin and one on Ethereum. And the Bitcoin one, the strike that we choose was 54,000. So everything above 54,000, we were profiting from that. And we can see that this for sure now is money in our pockets, and I think it was 20% at a time. So this was pretty much a very, very easy 20% that we made. We still have a few days to go on Ethereum and on Bitcoin, but for Ethereum it was 2,700. Above 2,700 we were profitable, and for Bitcoin above 54,000. So again, both of these seem very, very doable now. You can see that Bitcoin tested the top of the box that I drew on another video. So now we have to wait to see if it's going to test again, stay above the rising channel that we saw on the image before. While a lot of people think Bitcoin is going to correct or have a pullback, mainly because of support and resistances at current levels, but also because of the Bollinger. As I explained before, it is overextended on the Bollinger. So what tends to happen is for Bitcoin Bitcoin to correct a little bit on that level and reach either the moving average or another support. So while a lot of people are not necessarily bearish for Bitcoin itself, they just think Bitcoin overextended throughout this run that I had this week. Some say right here that it could just test this level right here on the red that we see, or that it can test the 67,000 and then go back up to the 70s. But as we are aware, this is always something that is speculation. A lot of technical analysis are valid both ways. We just have to wait and see what Bitcoin ends up doing. But for Ethereum, we have updates on the ETF side of things, and they are very, very bullish for Ethereum itself. On the DTCC website, the Van Heck Spot ETF for Ethereum was listed. So again, just like we saw a few days before the listing itself of the Bitcoin ETF, where they were listed on Vanguard or a bunch of other websites before it was released as official, we're seeing the same things happening to a lot of platforms regarding the ETFs for Ethereum. So the ETF with the symbol ETHV, this is the name it was listed under. So it seems that there's a lot of possibilities here that this will go through, and this of course is very, very bullish. Ethereum had a surge of 18% when it rallied. You can see that now we're trading at a 3,700 more or less, but again overextended on the Bollinger as well as Bitcoin was. So we could say the same thing, that Ethereum could go back and try to look for the moving average or look for another support. We can even say that it is around this one right here, around the 3,600, 3,500. But because the news are on an Ethereum ETF, we can see that options wise, there's a lot of people betting on the bullishness of Ethereum. So if we look at the volume by expiration, what is the total volume for calls or puts or expiration, we can see that both the volume and the open interests for Ethereum options, they're booming everywhere. So you can see the total volume for the 24 hours, it is very, very bullish. There's a lot of volume on the call side compared to put side. The volume by expiration is predominantly on the call side. And even if we go to the open interest, you can see there are indeed a few puts, but mostly the open interest is all green, meaning that is all on the call side of things. And this is for Ethereum. For Bitcoin, we also have a lot of bullishness, also all the way to 2025. So almost 3 times the bullishness towards the bearishness for March 2025. But for the shorter expirations, we also have a lot of bullishness just on June. June 7th has a almost 1-to-1 ratio for puts and calls, but puts are winning. So there are a lot more puts for June 7th than there are for other expiration dates. But it seems that is only this month right here that has more bearishness than bullishness. Everything else, all the other expiration that we have right now, they are bullish. So if you use this data, open interest, volumes by expiration, and you also use that with the fear and greed index with technical analysis, we can kind of see that just like it happened in other halvings, there's a lot of potential for Bitcoin and Ethereum because of the ETF news to skyrocket, to kind of moon, to fly maybe 2x, maybe 3x by next year, which is usually a good period post-halving for you to be bullish, and the asset has time to expand and grow. So that being said, it seems like everyone is bullish on the long term and on the medium term, of course with a few exceptions on some strikes, but that doesn't mean that before all these green candles we won't see any lowering on these prices for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And who knows, this might be the last time that we see Bitcoin below 70k and Ethereum below 4k. So I personally am very bullish. I'm gonna wait for this correction, for this overextension on the Bollinger Bands, to buy more of these assets, because again, I'm bullish on both of them for the ETF and because of the post-halving on Bitcoin itself. So personally, again, not financial advice, this is the time to buy. And not only buying the asset, but also buy leaps, buy future expiration, so long expiration options for a month out, maybe 2 months out, 5 months out, because I personally see that whatever ATM option we buy right now, this will pay off in the near future. So for my current positions that I have for Ethereum for May 31st, I have one that makes 10%, one that is making around 30%. And for Bitcoin, I have that 54,000 that I showed, which is making around 5% for me, which again is very, very good because it was an easy 5% that we made so far. So a lot of positions that are profitable for me, and we should see that profit, that cash going back in my pocket. So right now, what do you have strategy wise for you to choose from? So if we go to May 31st, so in a couple of days from now, so in a week from now, more or less 10 days from now, we have the 6,500 strike, which again could make sense, and that is paying a 7%. But we also have one that I'm looking at it. I'm not sure if I want to open it or if I just want to open a small position just to make sure if I profit, I can cover that. But we have a $67,000 here below 67. So if Bitcoin closes below 67 by March 31st, I can make 100%. So I can double my money if this option goes in my favor. And if we look at the charts, if we do a little bit of technical analysis here, again, Bitcoin did test the resistance level right here, and now it could most likely retrace, so go back to the 67,000, and here is May 31st. So maybe by May 31st it can be hovering around or below, in our case below 67,000, and this would mean for us a good 100% on our money. So again, not financial advice, but this is something good if you want to take a look at it, if you want to risk a little bit, because again, you're going to be doubling your money. So if you go with 20 bucks, you can make 20 in profit, so 40 bucks overall, or if you lose it, it's just 20 bucks, you know. So I'm still deciding what I'm going to do with this option, but it is a very, very interesting one, and the risk is medium. So again, delta most likely isn't that high, and delta for the 7.4%, it seems that it is a little bit high because the risk here says high on the risk level. And we also have some good Ethereum options as well. We have good spreads for Ethereum, both for the bullish and the bearish. We have a 3,500 here paying 77%. Now it's 94. You can see it keeps updating. So very good on both sides. If you're bullish or bearish, depending on what you want for spreads, you have a lot to choose from. But if you don't want to go with spreads, you can go with options as well. And the good thing is that you don't even need to go for the 31st. You can go to May 24th. So even closer, if you believe the market's going to correct before the 24th. So closer expiration, you can make even more money if it goes more in your favor, but also cheaper options. So for Bitcoin and Ethereum, this could be good, especially right now that most likely it will retrace. At least this is my opinion. So we have a lot of opportunities here in options or for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And now I want to hear from you. What do you think is going to happen? Are you taking actions to profit from these movements? So let me know if you have any good strategies that you're going to be using for this next few days or next few weeks. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.